Okay. Graphing using roots. Roots are x-intercepts. Okay? So when we talk about roots, we mean x-intercepts of the graph. We have our parabolas normally. And what we're going to be working on is finding our two roots. Then from there, finding a vertex and graphing our parabola. Okay. Now the very first step, what form is this quadratic equation in right now? Standard, that's right. In order to find roots or x-intercepts, what form do we have to get to? And what do we do to get to factored? We factor. The very first step of factoring is look for a common factor. Is there a common factor of -8, -13, and 6?
None.
No. But our first term is a negative, so what would we like to take out of there? Yeah. We want to make it positive. So we factor out -1. -1 becomes our common factor. We're then left with 8x squared plus 13x minus 6. Now again, we're in standard form, but this time we're trying to factor. So in order to factor, we find the factors of a, which in this case are what? 1 and 8, and 2 and 4. And we find the factors of the last term 6, which are 1, 6, 2, and 3. Now we're going to test out these columns. And we know that each column, in the first one, whatever column we choose will be the first terms in our brackets. And whatever column we choose for our second ones will be the second terms in our brackets. We know that their products need to add up to what? That's right, positive 13x. So let's test it out. Michael, you said you already knew it. What was it?
1 and 1 and 8. I mean, no. 2 and 6. 2 times 6 is 12. 1 times 1 is 1.
Ah.
Plus 1 is
What
13.
mistake has he made here? They're not from the same column.
Oh my god.
They must be from the same column. Callum?
Oh, I was going to say 8 and 2 and 1 and 3.
Let's see. 8 and 2 would give us 16. 1 and 3 would give us 3. That's right. If the 3 is negative, we'll get positive 16. Good job.
What if it's not negative?
Then
Well, you can change it.
We got a test. Yeah, you make it to 8 and 3. So, 8 by 2 gives us 16x. 1 by 3 gives us 3x. Now, in order for this to work, the 3 needs to be negative, which means the term we multiplied by, this 3 needs to be negative. To check, what is -3 times positive 2?
Negative 6.
Good. So it did fulfill our requirement because that's -6. So we know those are going to work. So we go to put this in our factored form. Y equals, we still have the common factor, -1. Our two brackets. We're using this column here, so those first will be the first terms in each. Let's put 8x in the first one and x in the other. Now here's the important part. These green ones will be our second terms. But because we multiplied 1 by -3, the 1 and -3 have to go in opposite columns. You must remember that rule. The 8 times the 2, therefore the 8 and the 2 must go in opposite columns. That must always happen. Otherwise, you've done this wrong. So, we have our two brackets. And we're in, this is what is our factored form. Remember, we wanted to find our roots. So we'll write it all in black here. To find roots, we're trying to isolate our x values. Okay? Our x values are in brackets, and we have this -1 on the outside. Also, to find roots, what is our y value at the x-intercept? That's right. Y is equal to 0 on the x-intercept. Therefore, we need to change our y to be the value of 0. We rewrite this out. We need to get rid of that -1. This is all from yesterday or 2 days ago stuff. This -1 we need to get rid of. So we divide both sides by -1. What is 0 divide -1?
0.
And then we're left with 8x minus 3 and x plus 2. Now we know that both of these multiplied together are going to create 0. So what does one of them have to be in order to multiply to get a 0? That's right. So we're going to test for both of them to be 0. We'll set each bracket equal to 0. which will give us 8x minus 3 equals 0. And x plus 2 equals 0. We need to isolate for x in both. If we bring the 3 over, we get 8x equals 3. And then we divide by 8 to get x equals 3 over 8. And then the other one, x equals negative 2. What have we just found? The 2x intercepts. So if we're to graph this, we have an x-intercept, 3 over 8, and one at negative 2. So here are our two x-intercepts. Okay.
So you should consider drinking some water.
I will. So we have our two x-intercepts. So, like I said, we have our two x-intercepts. In the middle of two x-intercepts is the vertex, or also known as the axis of symmetry. Because parabolas are symmetrical, the vertex and the axis of symmetry will fall along or in between, directly in between two x-intercepts. So with that being said, we have to learn to find our axis of symmetry. Yes. Oh, we'll do it together. It's okay. So the formula for axis of symmetry, also known as our AOS, is usually R plus S divided by 2. And R and S, what they mean by that is the two x-intercepts. You could call that also x1 maybe and x2, if that helps or makes it easier for you. What are our two x-intercepts? So we have, for our axis of symmetry, negative 2 plus, what is it as a decimal?
0.37.
Divided by 2. That will give us what? Negative 1.625. Divide 2. Which is what?
No, it's 1.0.
No. Calculators. This is why I should get calculators. Help me out here.
I got sir, negative 0.81.
0.81? No, that's okay. Negative 0.81. Now, what that is our axis of symmetry, and it's also the x value of our vertex. To find the y value, we take this x value and plug it into either the standard form, which we started with, or the factor form we found. Both will give us the right answer. Okay? So this is why I need your calculators out. We're going to try to do this together as a group. We're going to do it both ways. Standard and factor. So, the standard form of this equation was y equals negative 8x squared, negative 13 plus 6, I believe. Is that right? Yeah. And the factored form, 8x minus 3, x plus 2. Okay, so like we were saying, we can plug the x value of the vertex, which we found to be negative 0.81, into either equation to find our y. So this is where I need your help. We're going to replace all of the x values with negative 0.81. Okay? Both answers should be the same if you could do it in both. So y equals negative 8 times squared minus 13 times negative 0.81 plus 6. While I write out this factor form, can someone please try to solve the standard form on their calculator? Factored form, negative 1, 8 times negative 0.81 minus 3, negative 0.81 plus 2. Anyone got anything for me here? Can anyone confirm? 11.28, great. On the factor form, Please try that also.
Oh.
You should end up with this. So we got 11.28 if both. So what that means, okay, 11.28, well, that is way up here, 11.28. So the vertex is at negative 0.81 and 11.28. In other words, our parabola goes through this x-intercept, hits this vertex, and comes back down to this x-intercept. Okay? You can now make rough sketches of any parabola using the factored form. So, just to recap, from here to here was nothing new. It was all what we did the other day. Finding the axis of symmetry and then the y value of the vertex is what's new to us. Okay?